GTA 6 is officially 1 year away. So before that incredible day arrives, I want to know everything about the storyline, the characters, the map. We have already looked at Lucia Caminos and Jason Duvall. So today I wanted to look at the first side character, Cal Hampton. Let's get as much information as we can on Cal and let's build a picture for this character. Cal looks to be around the same age as Jason. If we compare the two photos, it's very difficult to tell if he's younger, if he's older. Kind of look around the same age. He clearly doesn't work out as much as Jason because he got a bit of a belly on him. In a lot of these pictures, you'll also see him drinking beer. I think in the trailer and the pictures, he's probably drinking beer in maybe like 80 to 90% of them, but there's a reason for this. Cal feels safest hanging at home. From this sentence, we can gather that he's not very outgoing. We can back this up with Cal is at the low tide of America and happy there. There's a couple of ways you can interpret this, but this is how I look at it. He doesn't want all the popularity, the money, and the glamour that Vice City can offer. He's perfectly content being at home away from other people. We also know that Cal is a bit of a conspiracy theorist. There are way too many birds flying around in perfect formation. So if we cast our minds back to COVID-19, there was actually a theory going around. Now it was a bit of a joke, but like, you could definitely see why people were believing it. People believed that the reason COVID-19 happened was because the government needed to change the batteries in the pigeons, because people thought that the pigeons were spying on them and that they had listening devices in and all that kind of crack. So what Cal is referring to is that he's worried that the birds are like robots with like listening devices on them and that they're going around in the exact same rotation all the time, so it's clear as day they're here listening to us. The government are listening to us. Casual paranoia loves company. Let me break this down. Casual paranoia is referring to Cal because he is a conspiracy theorist, worried about the birds, worried that the birds are listening to him, and I'm guessing company is referring to Jason. So in the story, Cal is probably going to have all these wild theories that like, here man, this is what's going on here, those birds are listening to us, you know. And I'm guessing Jason just tolerates him, you know, and just listens to his suspicions and all that kind of thing, just like in a friendly way. Snooping on Coast Guard comms with a few beers and some private browser tabs open, once again hammering down on the introvert lifestyle. A lot of people are speculating that Cal is going to be the new Lester, really good with computers and hacking and information and all that kind of stuff. Now I don't think that's wrong. I think that's a very fair assumption. I think he will be a lot like Lester, but I'm speculating he's going to have the personality of maybe the Truth from San Andreas. So maybe he has the skill set of Lester, but the personality of the Truth. Along with being like a huge conspiracy theorist, this quote also reminds me of the Truth. It was actually the first thing I thought of. What if everything on the internet was true? This sounds exactly like what the Truth would say.
Hey man, how you meet these dudes anyway?
I met them at the 89th year of loving, apparently.
Apparently.
You know how it is, man. A field of tents, crazy ass music, a quart of mescaline vodka, polar bears.
Polar bears?
Yeah, go figure. But they were funny guys, man. Great sense of humor.
So he could be a mix of both characters, which I would love. I mean, the Truth was such a fantastic character, man, and his missions were just so memorable as well, you know? And that's all the facts I can gather, really. Cal is a good friend of Jason's, works for Brian, likes computers and conspiracy theories. So now it's the juicy part of the video where we get to speculate. What kind of person is Cal? Like we discussed, he seems like an introvert. Doesn't like to be around people, would rather be on his computer with private browser tabs open. Although in this scene, he does say,
Ring the bell! Shots, baby!
unless he was already really drunk, he can't be that bad with people. That's really outgoing saying that kind of shit in a room full of people, you know what I mean? He could be an anxious or nervous person. Paranoia is probably a better word, as mentioned on the website. What is Cal's motivation? This is very hard to answer because obviously we don't have that much information. Cal is at the low tide of America and happy there. This indicates that Cal is really content where he is. He's not living a luxurious life and he's got no issue with that. Now, if we speculate, it says Cal feels safest hanging at home, Snoopy on Coast Guard comms. The question you need to ask yourself is, why is he so interested in that? Like, I can understand snooping and kind of listening into people and eavesdropping and all that, but what could possibly be on like the Coast Guard comms that would like want him to do that, you know? Cal works for Brian, and Brian owns like a boat works and marina shop, but we all know realistically it's a front for drug trafficking. Now I'm guessing he does do that job. I'm guessing he does like fix ships and gets fish in and all that kind of stuff, but the main gig is getting drugs into Vice City. Again, we're speculating here, but I think Cal's job is realistically he needs to listen out to the Coast Guard and like, you know, let Brian know if basically when the drugs are coming in and where to get it and all that kind of thing. And maybe it's also his job to know if other people are bringing in drugs and that, like, oh, you need to go take that ship out or something like that, you know what I mean? So maybe his motivation is he just like really enjoys his job and he really enjoys working for Brian, keeping a pretty casual life and just making a bit of money. Maybe that's all he wants. Who is Cal close to? Jason Duvall, because it says it here. Brian, because he works for Brian. He's shown here with Lucia in this scene, but we have no idea if they're actually buddies or, you know, he's just hanging around because Jason's there. And that's about it, man. It's way too early to tell if he's like involved with Raoul, with the heists or anything like that. He probably does, but we don't know that yet. You can also see him talk to these people in the bar scene, but like that's it. Like these are realistically just NPCs, we don't know. What is Cal's role in the story? Like we already discussed, he's realistically going to be really good with computers and he probably will fit into the Lester kind of character. And if anyone doesn't know the Lester character, in GTA 5 he was basically just one big hacker. He was really good at finding out where people were getting credit card numbers. He was really good at like taking stolen goods and getting money out of it. Cal could play a gigantic role in helping Jason and Lucia like avoid law enforcement. It could be a case that he always lets them know if the police are getting closer to them, or he'll tell them if the police are looking for them in this area. You've been found, you need to move maybe. I'm guessing he's going to play a massive role in that. What does Cal represent? From all the information we have, I think Cal represents the truth. Truth seeking, paranoia, doubt. He's clearly a paranoid person. Like, who would even come up with that thought about the birds, you know? He just likes to know things. I think he's a man who just likes to know things. A lot like Lester, you know, he just wants that information. He wants the truth. They're showing that he likes listening to the Coast Guard thing. Maybe he just likes knowing. He just likes knowing what's coming into Vice City and all that kind of way. What if everything on the internet was true? This is realistically more conspiracy theory thinking, but it could be also seeking the truth, forcing himself to believe that like everything on the internet is real and it's true. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my character breakdown of Cal Hampton. I hope you learned something. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, really hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.